Right, this time I thought I'd do a top 10 video on PlayStation 1. I have it here. The original PlayStation. Don't you just miss having memory cards? Yeah, so when did I get this? I think it might have been around 1998. I think it was on my 12th birthday, 1998 I got this. So yeah, the original Sony PlayStation 1. I do like the original controller, which is sort of like designed from the Super Nintendo controller. Was never that much of a fan of a DualShock controller, to be honest. I'm glad we've changed it in recent years. Right, so top 10 games. This was a tough one because PlayStation was definitely one of my favourite consoles of all time, and there were so many games that I played in it. So number 10, Command and Conquer. Kind of known as a PC game, but it did get a PlayStation release. If you was going to play this game, I definitely recommend you play it on a PC instead of PlayStation, but still, the fact in the 90s that you was able to play this on a home console was great. They also did like Red Alert on the PlayStation 1 as well, but the PC version was far better. But I actually quite like the PlayStation version of this, it was pretty good. The case is absolutely destroyed. You can tell how, I think I got this game back in 98, roughly around the time I got the PlayStation, so yeah, the case is a bit knackered. But I've got the game discs somewhere in a different case. They're well protected. So yeah, Command and Conquer, great game. Command and Conquer, great music as well. Number 9. This one's quite like a hidden gem, really. I mean, I don't know how many people know about this one, but number 9, Pandemonium 2. I have got the first one as well, but I prefer the second one. Great sort of like platforming game, great graphics for its time. Yeah, really enjoy this one. Don't think I've ever completed it. Got this one quite late as well. I think I got it off eBay or wherever when PlayStation games are going cheap. But yeah, great platforming 3D game. Really enjoy this one. Like I said, I would class it as like a hidden gem really, because you don't hear a lot of people talking about it, and it's a really fun game. Really enjoy this one, Pandemonium 2. Number 8, the game I got with my DualShock controller, Gran Turismo. And I would say, personally, this is the only Gran Turismo game that I really enjoyed. I mean, all the sequels, they started to become more of like a driving simulator sort of game. This game is more of an arcade game. It even says, it shows you the analog controller DualShock. I got it in like a big, I wish I still had the pack that I got it in. But yeah, really like this game. Great music, had tons and tons of fun with it. So yeah, Gran Turismo. I'm sure most people know about Gran Turismo that have had a PlayStation. So number 7, and the fighting game. I'm not really into fighting games that much, but this one was brilliant. That's Wu-Tang Taste for Pain, based on the hip hop group Wu-Tang Clan. But this fighting game, it was a lot of fun because you could play it with different players, tons of characters to choose from, and I can't seem to get the case open. It's cracked. Yeah, they used to get damaged, a lot of these cases. Yeah, it opens up now. Yeah, included a lot of music as well from like the Wu-Tang Clan and that. But yeah, great game. Wu-Tang Taste of Pain. If you're into like your fighting games, this was definitely like one of the best PlayStation, because I was never really into like Tekken or anything like that, but I really enjoyed this one. So number 6, Crash Bandicoot 1. I think all the Crash Bandicoot games with PlayStation are really good, but if I have to choose one, then it'd be the first one, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody knows about this game. It's great, just like your typical sort of like 90s 3D platformer. Great game. So, on to the top 5. Number 5. And another racing game, which I think the PlayStation was well known for. And that's Wipeout 3. Again, I like all the Wipeout games for the PlayStation. If I had to choose one more, the third one would probably just top it. But Wipeout 1 and Wipeout 2097 were also really good. But yeah, love this game. Yeah, it's just a futuristic racing game where you race around a track really fast and you use weapons to try and defeat your opponents as well. But yeah, Wipeout 3, great game. Never get bored of these games really. I can go back to all the Wipeout games and play them. I also really enjoy Wipeout Fusion on PlayStation 2 and Wipeout 3D on the PS3. But yeah, the 3 original Wipeout games on PlayStation are really good. So Wipeout 3, number 5. Number 4. Silent Hill. Yes, the big survival horror game. I played this game when the PlayStation was relevant, but I didn't get this actual copy until much later. Yeah, Silent Hill, brilliant game. Definitely one I'd recommend. So yeah, number 4, Silent Hill. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid. I think it comes with 2 discs, yeah. Everyone knows about Metal Gear Solid. I mean, one of the best PlayStation game series. All the sequels are great as well, but this one's definitely up there as one of the best. The original, to me, I think it just wins it. It's just a classic game, this one. Never gets old. I've actually got the remastered sort of remake of it on the GameCube. I think it's called Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Is it? Something like that. And again, it's probably the best way to play it if you want on the GameCube. But yeah, I really love this game. So Metal Gear Solid. I mean, I don't really need to talk about this game that much. Everyone knows about it. It's one of the best games ever made. Definitely one of the best PlayStation 1 games in my opinion. So yeah, number 3. Right, on to my last 2. And my number 2 is Resident Evil 2. The very first game I got with my PlayStation. And yeah, I'll never forget going to game. It was on the top shelf. And I think the deal was, when I got my PlayStation console, I could choose any game I wanted with it as part of the deal. I think it was in the UK Game Store game. So it was a no-brainer. This was like one of the games that had just come out. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting Resident Evil 2. I've also got the GameCube version of this and also the remastered version on Steam. Is it on Steam I've got it, or on Xbox? It's one of the two. But yeah, it's just one of the best games ever made again. Again, if you're ever going to get into like playing PlayStation games, check this one out. Resident Evil 2. So my number 1 PlayStation 1 game of all time is Resident Evil. I'll never forget when this game first came out in 1996, and a friend of mine who lived down the road from me, he just got a PlayStation way before I got mine, and he set it all up, and this was a game that they had with it, and they put this game into PlayStation, and I was just like, wow, I'd literally never seen or played a game quite like it. I've also got its remake and its remaster and everything, but the original for me, I mean, some people like to take the piss out of it because of like the voice acting and everything, but you know, you got to understand that when it came out, nobody felt that way about it. It was just a brilliant game, outstanding, one of the most important games ever made in my opinion, and it never gets old. I mean, yeah, I just love it. Everything about it, the gameplay, the music. It's great. I mean, Resident Evil 2, you could argue that it was a bigger game than this one was, but I don't know. I prefer like the more of a survival horror in this game, because I always thought with Resident Evil 2 it was a bit easier. There was more action involved. This one was more like had more horror elements to it, and it was more difficult to complete, especially if you play as Chris Redfield. I'd say I think it was a bit easier if you played as Jill Valentine, but yeah, I mean everyone knows about this game really. I don't need to. I could make it my own video about the Resident Evil series. But yeah, that's my top 10 PlayStation 1 games. So, let me know your thoughts. What are your favourite PlayStation 1 games? Did you have a PlayStation 1 back in the day? It's definitely one of my favourite consoles. So many great memories from it. So, it's definitely up there with the Sega Mega Drive, I'd say, as one of my favourites. I do like the other PlayStation consoles that have come after it, but none of them have been quite close to being as good as the PlayStation 1 was, I don't think. I know that's debatable. Yeah, so that's the PlayStation 1 and my top 10 games for the PlayStation 1. So let me know your thoughts. Please comment, like, subscribe if you wish. And I'll catch you in the next video.